I'm Dr. Thomas. I'm an evolutionary psychologist. I focus on research projects looking at relationship preferences, looking at compatibility, and looking at differences between the sexes. The research projects I'm looking at running next year, we've got a sort of varied bunch. One of them is that I'm probably most passionate about is an idea I've had for testing whether people like those who are physically attractive because of the good genes hypothesis, the idea that if we mate with someone who's attractive, we produce offspring who are then more viable in subsequent generations. And comparing that against a competing hypothesis called the sexy sons hypothesis, which is the idea that we just like attractive people in general, and then any offspring that we have are subsequently attractive as well. They have more offspring, and then this process over evolutionary time becomes reinforced. So I've got a cool little study that I want to run that investigates and teases apart those two hypotheses. That one would actually involve getting people to provide us with images of their parents so we can get them rated for attractiveness, and then seeing whether that correlates with certain attributes that they have, including mental and physical health, as well as how attractive they're perceived to be by other people. A couple of my cheat sheet here. A couple of other ideas I've got. A continuation of a study that I'm currently running looking at polygyny within the UK. So actually all the way around the world you actually find that the majority of societies allow for something called polygyny. That's where a man takes more than one wife, and we believe that that has been around for, or part of the human mating repertoire for a very long time. Now, if you have some societies where that behavior isn't tolerated, it's not allowed, it's against the law, what we want to know is, do people, even though they're not allowed to engage in this behavior, still show tendencies towards it because of the long evolutionary history that we have? So that would be more of a questionnaire study that we've been looking at. We're already collecting some preliminary data on that. And then the third idea that I've got is, which one was it? Oh yeah, it's a continuation of a running theme that I have in my lab. I've recently published an article showing that small little interventions can change whether people prefer long-term over short-term relationships within a lab space. It's fairly new, it's not been done before, and we're looking to run a couple more studies to sort of establish the different facets of that effect and hopefully go for another publication. You can read more about that one on my website, andrewthomas.org, and you can see that recent publication. So they're extensions of that, looking at things like whether dangerous cues or whether disgust cues can actually change whether people like short-term over long-term mating. So there's just a little bit of a cross-section of some of the stuff that I'm doing. I'm open to other ideas, providing they have a strong rationale behind them and a well-established hypothesis. But generally speaking, if they're geared towards relationships and evolutionary theory, then I'm your guy. So yeah, I've already given my website that you can have a little look at. You can contact me via email as well, a.g.thomas at swansea.ac.uk, and I hope to hear from you soon.